I can stop that, and I can just reduce that audio down, and we should be good to go. And we're good to go. Excellent. Hey guys. Just make sure that it is. Oh, totally see you now. Excellent, excellent. Hey guys, I'm Phoenix here, and welcome to Satisfactory. Welcome back to Satisfactory. I'm doing some road construction, and I was just kind of thinking, you know what? I'm just going to stream this because then I can just chat about stuff, whilst you kind of get to see the basic layout of my madness. All this is going to go. All this is going to be neatened up. Hopefully, this stream. But we can nip around that wall's in the wrong place. We can nip around this side to see basically what I'm planning. So essentially I realised that my systems have this huge issue whereby I can make small things reasonably easily. Screws, that's fine. I can just build a satellite facility off to one side and it just makes screws and that's it. And it just pumps loads of screws into wherever it needs to go. Fine. Except that's not very efficient, because if I need something that needs screws, such as the computer plant over there, then I have basically two choices. I can either conveyor belt it over, with three choices. I can either conveyor belt it over, which will be hellish. I could use trucks or tractors to pick it up at a truck station and then maneuver its way through the mess of this factory over to my computer plant. Again, messy, awkward, etc. Even just using the tractors to keep this running was hell, on the basis that the tractors actually do move a fair distance, which means that by the time they get here, then they're going to need fuel. And if these are out of fuel, because I haven't chopped down half of the rainforest, then automatically they're going to turn around and they're going to start trundling back. And then they're going to run out of fuel somewhere along the journey. And then another one is going to ram into it, because that's what they do. So what I needed was a better system of doing things. And this is kind of what... This side is basically the old system of how I was going to run things, and then this side is the new system, sort of. It's going to incorporate this side as well. So, ultimately what's going to happen is I'm going to raise this floor up to the same height as my service tunnel, which goes down the middle. And this is based on the channel tunnel. So what you have is you have a tunnel this side, and you have a tunnel this side. In accordance to the rules of the road in the UK, and thus what should be the rest of the world, but isn't for some reason. Obviously, you drive on the left-hand side of the road in the UK, so that's the same setup that I'm going to have here. So any trucks that need to get from point A to point B are going to be driving on the left-hand side of the road, which is this side, and then returning on this side. Now, obviously, I don't want to be on the same track as automated transports, so I've got a service tunnel down the middle, very much in the same way that the channel tunnel has a service tunnel down the middle of the two sides. So, yep, I quite literally just raise. Now, the tractors are out of fuel. I'm not expecting them to come barreling through. So, yeah, that's fine. And I'm basically just going to match it up like this. This. Right. That's you know, all reasonably self-explanatory. We just have a second line down here. But that's not just what I'm going to be doing with this. You know, this is a road tunnel. This is not for long distance stuff. This is for trucks to load up and then take things short distances, because and we kind of return here to the screw problem, which is much more complicated than it sounds. But anyway, so I can make screws very, very easily, as I said, over there, and transporting it over here, that's part of the problem. But what I can do is I can use trains, which I'm currently researching the monorail train technology, to move everything to this facility, and then I can branch out from there. So simple things like screws, steel pipes, all that stuff I can make in situ. And then I can use trains to move it to a central storage facility. From there, the central storage facility also acts as a manufacturing plant. So things that are a little bit more complicated to make are then moved by truck. The resources to make them are moved by truck to get the resources to where they need to be. Sounds reasonably simple. It's probably not going to be that easy to do. I mean, some of the benefits of using this system, if I'm using trains, then I can get rid of the mess of cabling that I've got lying around. And certainly, like these sort of satellite facilities here, I can neaten this all up by having a train that just picks stuff up, take it to a central place, and then just build stuff. Meaning that expanding these areas is an awful lot easier, because I'm not having to traipse things around. Like all these steel beams are having to come from over there, which is fine, but what I would rather do is just funnel them into a central storage facility so that I can basically rely on the trucks. I'm going to cut holes across the service tunnel so that the trucks can just turn around. They don't have to go all the way through in order to turn around. They can't go into their own sort of turning spots that are off the tunnel, unload, turn around, and then go on into the correct side for them to trundle back. That's the basic rough plan anyway. Whether or not it sorry about that. Whether or not it sort of that plan all sort of works as intended, well, that's a different matter. It's always a different matter. Something that I'm going to quickly do is actually route a steel line into the main one, if I've got the resources to do it. Conveyor merger, here we go. Yeah, if I stick the conveyor merger in here, then I can just run that line into there, and then that's going to double the production, theoretically, of the things that I need to make, basically, to allow my monorails to be researched. So yeah, currently this system that I've got is improvised, and I want to unify everything and tighten it up. This is another part of the reason why I started a new map, so that I could do this sort of thing without having too many problems that are caused by just running an old map. And I don't know necessarily if they've got if the new map, if the old map has all the stuff that the new map does. So that's my thinking anyway. Today I'm going to be doing some construction of roads and driving down to the old facility in my new Explorer, which I built today, and I'm very happy I did. The tractors are fine for short trips, but for anything too long, you're just spending ages. You're just spending ages moving very, very slowly, which is not ideal. So in, oh god, maths is not my strong point. 27 frames to go. 21 frames to go. And once those 21 frames are down, I can then start thinking about the next layer, because this is going to be a multi-layered thing. But for now, we can get this one removed. This was all a bit of a prototype for a much sort of grander thing. I need to hike this up, basically. So all this needs to be pulled up. Like so. And then going on inside. So this needs to be a wall. These walls need to be taken out, so we've got a nice crossing point. And then these walls taken out so that we can get inside here. Like that. And I may as well just sort of bring all this out here like this. Because this is where the factories are going to be ending up. Yeah, this slight problem. Container, stick a storage container in, store a bunch of stuff, then I can jump into this hole, grab this. Oh great. Rather a lot of cabling in here. Yeah, 11,000 wire. Yeah, that's I'll just stick another storage container in. Store all. And then this should be the last lot. Yes, it is. Excellent. It's one of those things where, you know, whatever you're building sooner or later, it's just going to be carpeted in storage containers. Oh, damn it. Store. I often make this mistake of putting the wrong thing into the wrong side. Right, I probably don't need any more of that, but what I could do with is some more of this. Right, okay. So vehicles, truck station. Why do I not have any of those? And then giving it enough space to kind of come in and then maneuver into position. And then they'll need to turn around on this end as well. I have to move that. That's fine. We can put in a power pole about here. So we've got that. Not sure what to do about that yet. Probably nothing for the moment because I need to hike these. I'm using a lot of these walls. I quite like the sounds. I like the other ones as well. I know these are the ones that I tend to just sort of go with. Wait a bit. It needs to come up one more. I think what I would do is, because these are quite sort of multi-purpose, sort of inside or outside walls, I think what I would probably do is bring it out over here, and then have the next layer be the, you know, just sort of break it up and to say, hey, you know, this is actually the factory floor now. So yeah, something like that, and then maybe we go out by 2, like that. Sometimes I miss and create extra ones lying around, but should be. I think I have just cut the power to somewhere. Cable. Seriously, run out of cable. Let's just patch that hole, and then I can quickly connect that power back up. Not that it's, I think, hugely important. I think that's just down to the screw central, I think I've called it, which will be, actually, is it? I can't really remember. I can't remember where all the cables go. I think that is a place that makes screws. Actually, I don't think that is what will be sort of the screw central, which is I found a place with 3 iron nodules on it. So that's going to be where the new sort of screw manufacturing plant is going to be, because I can expand that by quite a bit. So it's worth having. Right, let's just I've missed and created another one over there. Okay, so for the moment that's all good. We're hooked up to the grid. That's all still running. I can put my next 6 in there and tighten this up. Don't know why, sometimes when you try and place something it just doesn't want to place, or for some reason it's the wrong way around. It does that a lot. That's a little bit, I wish it would detect the faces and then kind of match it up a little bit, but oh well, it's early access yet. Okay, I should probably just bounce back and see how my concrete things are coming on. And any tractors that I've got, I want to delete their waypoints, so that just to kind of tidy things up a bit. So each one I come across, I'll delete their waypoints, just that we can start changing things up a bit. And this will extend over up to probably about here, I would expect, and then there'll be a gap that will be filled by, I think I worked out that I probably want 6 trains carrying 5 items each. So each of the 6 so one train might carry plates, rods, screws, you know, sort of iron things, and one might do copper and steel, and you know, kind of do something like that, because there's about 30 items in the game, so there would be probably a couple of maybe 3 or 4 trains that are doing sort of let me just clear that path. Excellent. Yeah, there'll be 3 or 4 trains that are doing satellite runs, and then probably a couple of trains doing sort of more complicated components. So, God, yeah, 64, excellent. That'll get these done. It'll be God, my math, my on the spot maths is pretty dreadful. Whatever 6 times 3 is, that's the number of how many Uh, can't even blame hay fever. I took a tablet this morning. So yeah, no. I think this is going in the right sort of direction. It's about right. Oh, you tell you what else I've actually played recently. Something that came out of early access quite recently. Just think about early access. Oxygen Not Included. I don't know. It's fine for a bit, and then you realise how complicated it's getting, and just how wrong you've built your base, and you kind of get into a bit of a trap of realising that actually the only way to win is to actually just restart. Like No Man's Sky. Ugh. I played a bit of No Man's Sky earlier on their survival mode. I didn't exactly forget that it's horribly unbalanced, but it is horribly unbalanced. Oh shit, that took a whole load of stuff out of there. Downside of using truck stops is that if you've got some, and that's why I want to have another reason to have a sort of service tunnel down the middle, is so that you don't get that, because cleaning that up is an absolute pain. Basically you get the wrong thing down the line and you can't get it out because your inventory's full, and and that's all the stuff that I've basically been storing in my in my little buggy, and as soon as I go past it decides, you know what, I'm going to take everything out of it, and no, I really don't want you to do that. I've got to find this other tractor to cancel its path, so I just need to follow its path that it placed. Where on earth is this thing? Apparently it's over here somewhere. I like quite a lot of just saving. Sometimes when it saves, it then stops for about a minute or two. It's not ideal. It makes it look like it's crashed, but it hasn't. So just waiting for this to let me play again. It does an awful lot of just things right. Things that you kind of always hope for. Oh, it may have crashed. It's not letting me bring the game back up again. I'll give it a minute, but it may have actually crashed. No, it does an awful lot of just things right. So yesterday I mentioned, that it's got the sort of there we go. It's back again. A little while ago, yesterday I mentioned that it's kind of got the to-do list, which I find really useful as someone whose memory is not the greatest. So that's one good thing to have in a factory builder, of saying actually the game is that's where the other one is. It's just here. Excellent. So having the to-do list is such a useful thing for people whose memories are not the greatest. However, it does other things right. And in some cases it's just the little things. I mean, these are a little bit dumb, but it's fine. Like on the start screen, it tells you which game you're loading. Okay, hold on. Let me just dump some of this if I can into here. Oh, now it's actually running out of concrete. That's quite humorous. What I can do is I can move some of this stuff around. So instead of that going there, that can go into there, and then I can use a merger everything just sort of works as you kind of expect it to. There are a few circumstances where the conveyor belts won't sort of funnel properly. No, for the most part, it's fine. And it gives you guidelines, little blue markings to say, hey, this thing is lined up, which is really nice. So they're just an awful lot of just nice things to have. But a lot of sort of helpers, a lot of guides to make sure that, because ultimately people who build factory builders, they're going to want to build things so that they are all nice and symmetrical. So why not have the facilities there to let you do that? And the vehicles feel right. Long time ago I said I wasn't completely certain about the Explorer because it felt a little bit too floaty, and I've got so used to this thing now. I far prefer this to the tractor. The truck is a sort of a very close sort of second. The truck feels about right. It's got a little bit more power under it, and it's got much better sort of capacity. It's nice. I use the Explorer a lot now. And hopefully we'll get trains today. I'd love to be able to lay some trains. I'm running out of everything else now. Now that my production has increased, the rest of it hasn't, which is part of the reason why I'm doing this massive thing. So all of this will go, and it will all be sort of converted into the new system, which is going to be an awful lot more organised. I've got 6 more. That's basically 2 more bursts, and I saw 3 go into there just now. So 3 more, which I think is actually just coming as well. It's working on the 3rd. So I'm just going to wait here for a moment. Have my drink. And yes, those will come in through to here. Grab those, send that off, and then I can start thinking about monorails. So monorail will be next level up, basically. So there'll be a monorail station above the tunnel. So I can actually start putting in some of these foundations. What clearance? Oh, it's probably encroaching on that one. That's fine. I can just build it over here. There's an awful lot of clear. Oh, yeah, because it is actually it's encroaching on that one's clearance, which is slightly annoying. Okay. Well, we can. Yeah, we can work around that. The other thing I need to do is go into organisation and grab these. Just so I can get up here easily and get these foundations in. Oh yes, yeah. So maybe they had to have a fair amount of clearance. The truck stations need a lot of clearance above them. So maybe what we will do, because we won't have the space, because we'll have the have a service tunnel here. Is it? Oh no, we got out. Yeah, so that. No, actually, I might be able to fit it in. What I would do is I will basically mark out where the service tunnel is there. I mean, there's probably not much point in having another service tunnel down this middle section, especially not as actually this raises up. So what will probably have to be done is we bring up, sorry, aiming is hard. I do feel like actually this game has learned a little bit from a game called Fortress Craft Evolved, because that developer does an awful lot to make sure that your fun is never impeded by unnecessary restrictions. So if you want to build, you know, within range, but in the sense of Fortress Craft, they don't have a sort of a limit on how far away you can build. You can just basically point over there and say, I want to place a block there, and just lets you do that, which is always good. It's always good when a game thinks about that sort of thing. Let me just put in some. I've never worked these ones out. It kind of takes you up like half space. Oh no. Anyway, we'll just use these ones for now. And I'll neaten this up into an actual staircase at some point. But for the moment, it's fine. I can neaten all this up. So it's a case of, I'll neaten this up later. Neatened it up now. So yeah, so stations will go up on this one now, just because I do have that raise up, so I would quite like to get it all as flat as possible. So trains will go up here, and then storage will go. Not completely certain yet. Probably above it, or possibly to the side. I haven't quite worked that one out yet. Storage might sort of be slung over the side a bit. And then we have factory sort of modules set up so that things can be produced and then moved back into the system, essentially. Right, so let's unlock finally. It's in here. Managed to walk straight past it. This one. So upon pressing this button, we get monorails. Now, monorails. All this stuff is all to do with monorails. So basic sense, an electric locomotive is what you use to move things around. Freight cars is what you put them in, and they're attached to the electric locomotives. The railways are the track that these two run on. It's fairly self-explanatory. Now, train stations are the front part of the station. So you have one train station per platform. So a locomotive will stop at the train station. The freight platform and the empty platform, they're used for making sure that you've got an entire platform. But if you use, say, you wanted to unload, if you had a train that's 5 carts long, you wanted to unload the last cart, you would have 4 empty platforms, and then the last one being a freight cart. There's a little bit more detail than that, but that'll do for the moment. So I am going to need a train station. I am also going to need 3, 4, 5 of those, a freight cart, and 5 of them. And then that will... Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not quite what I need, because I need 4. It is what I need. It is definitely. Right, so that's everything that I need. I need computers. Oh god, I need 23 computers. I should have that. Ow, that probably hurt a little. Yes, so Explorer's over there. So jump in Explorer, go and get some computers. Actually, do I have some computers in the Explorer? I thought I might do. I do, I have 32. Excellent. In which case, we can maneuver around all this stuff. That's going to try and take stuff out of my inventory. It's fine. I'm going to need 59 heavy modular frames. Oh god, that's just for the station. This station. But I've got no way up. I should probably also build a way to get an explorer up onto the top of here, but for the moment it's fine. We'll get that up. So, I need one more of these. Which I've probably run out of resources. Yes, I probably have. Okay. Let's go and get those, and then I can come back. And I need 5 beacons apparently. That's rather useful. Oh, that's not the. There's more on that list that I've ignored. Where's my explorer? It's over there. Right. So we'll go and get those. And I love the to-do list. It's so useful. So each station, each of those is going to need. Sorry, I'm just talking to myself now. There. But we're gonna need some empty spots, and then yeah. It'll all be fine. It's extremely expensive to put in, but once it's done, the entire system will work, hopefully flawlessly. The most problem, the biggest problem that I'm going to have is naming the stations. I've already got Silicon Valley and Screw Central. The others could be a little bit more interesting. Obviously, the main depot is just probably going to be called Main Depot unless I come up with something better for it. But oh god. Right. 1. I came all that way. You've got 1 of these. Why have you only got 1 of these? You've got the beams. You're overclocked, so you're getting the. Why only 1? The workbench is in a bit of a funny place in this. Oh, I've got 82 in here. Okay. No, never mind. Panic over. Should probably also see if I can get some sulfur at some point. Poison. because sulfur unlocks the Nobelisk, which is like explosive. That will allow me to get into some places which I can't currently get into. So that would be rather useful to have. But yeah, I haven't found sulfur yet, so I can't do that just yet. There's an awful lot of meters driving around. It's kind of I streamed. Like, I'm going to be driving around anyway, so why not drive around on a stream and do stuff. Oh, this game is fantastic. I just keep coming back to this game is great. I love it. Right, let's grab that and get this. Oh, it wasn't even this I needed. It's modular frames. Good God. As I said, my systems are not very good. I could read that into there. Basically, that needs an upgrade. That needs an upgrade. That needs an everything needs an upgrade, and I think the way to do it is going to be build the rail systems, then I can go to each system in turn and make sure that they're operating at peak efficiency. Currently I've got this other line, you see, that goes in here. And I can just ride this belt. For some reason, I move faster on a belt than that stuff does, which is a bit odd. And I'm just letting the belt guide me at this point. You know, why run? It's tiring. Okay, and this is where I have to get off because I can't get sucked in up there. The game won't allow me to go up the elevators, unfortunately. Right, so let's get those in. Right, so now that's running. That's going to be making me useful stuff. The beacons I might be able to make on site. Can't remember if these will let me do beacons. No, they won't. That's fine. I can make them over there. Motors are, they're back in the other facility. This is kind of why I need a central storage area. So beacons are in this one. 2, 3, 4, 5. I may as well make some more while I'm here. So 10 of them will be fine. Other motors needed. The motors I think are going to be needed for the. The things. The things I can't even. The rail locomotives probably, right? No, freight car no. Electric locomotive yes. Train station. Oh, it's the freight platforms. Okay. That's fine. I've got loads of them back in the other direction. And I can also grab some more encased beams while I'm at it, because why not? And then I can get this, get the first locomotive in. So there's going to be, what did I say, 6 of these on top of that. On top of the tunnel. So, rather interesting thing that I did learn, however, with trains last time is that you can actually get stuck and then removed from the world. It's a bit of a design flaw. So I had these tunnels that you could put your trains through, which were, ultimately they did the job. Problem was that if you dismounted at the wrong time, you would get sort of stuck in the air, and then the game would remove you from the game, thus removing all of your equipment as well, which is not ideal, especially when you've got things like the assault rifle, which is actually quite difficult to make. And as a result, I just kind of had to keep on any time that happened. And actually, I got into a habit of saving before I got out of the train, because there would be this very, very good chance the system would just say, you know what, we're gonna, you're gonna be removed from the game today with all of your equipment, which kind of sucks. Especially if you're carrying things to a build, and it's not good, basically. So yeah, that was a thing that happened a lot. You know what? I'll just grab 100, because chances are I'm going to need them. So I've got the encased beams, and I can now go back to home, which is over here, and then I'll have to upgrade this facility over here to allow for trains, basically, and just kind of neaten things up. The game, it gets very your factories get very messy very quickly if you're not sort of watching them, and that area has become a little bit messy because of the nature of the area that I'm building in. I've not really been able to get a good sort of flat surface to build things, so I've got coal generators that are hanging off over cliffs and just kind of placed higgledy-piggledy wherever they'll fit, which is not ideal. So yes, that's all a thing as well. Probably actually remove those truck stops, thinking about it. They are just getting a little in the way at this point. Yep, excellent. We can now start building things. So I need a train station first of all. So that will create oh, I might as well. Oh wait, what am I missing? Steel beams? Need steel. What? Wait a minute. I've got everything. Oh, for goodness sake. It wants steel beams for some reason, even though the recipe doesn't call for steel beams, so I never picked any up. Grr. Fine. No, I don't want to use that one. Where's my explorer? It's this other side. Great. The recipe doesn't call for steel beams, only it might do, and it's been cut. No, because it's not saying that it needs steel beams. What? I'll have to bug that later. They've got this wonderful little feedback tool which you can just use for bugging things, which is great. I love those little tools because it's if you have to log into a forum or a bug reporter or something, I just can't be bothered. I want to play the game. I don't want to be sorting out yet another password or whatever. But if you've got an in-game bug reporting tool, that's awesome. I will give you bugs such as when you get out of your truck, you T-pose. That may have been fixed by now. I don't know. I can't check because I don't have a truck. But I think the same happened when you got out of the train. You'd actually T-pose. So yeah, so I've bugged a few sort of either small things or big things, just because there's an in-game reporting tool and you can do that thing. That's wonderful. More games should have sort of things, systems like that. Subnautica had the same, had a similar sort of thing, where you could just report your bugs using a form in the game. So you don't even need to stop playing in order to just write up a quick bug to say, hey, this thing has happened to me, or this is a thing. So later on I can just quickly just say, hey, this the train station is asking for steel beams when you're trying to place it, despite not actually asking for steel beams in the recipe. Yes. Yeah, it's a useful little tool, that. Again, it's an example of games doing things right, making sure that people have the tools to report stuff, but also just to play the game. You don't need arbitrary sort of limits to fun. You build a set of systems, and then you say to the players, hey, here's the systems, go nuts with them. And if anything goes wrong with the systems, you fix the systems. You don't just say, well, no, you're just using them wrong. That's not, that's not right. If you give someone a system, it needs to work in the full extent of the system. If it is a bug, if somebody has done that has actually sort of broken how the system is meant to work, that's fine. But in the case of something like pistons or rotors in Space Engineers, quite often the response from the moderator, not the developers, because they don't necessarily use the forums, but the moderator on the Steam forum is, well, it's broken because you're not using it correctly. And how are you meant to use it? If you have that system in place, then it needs to work in a way where if the user interacts with it in a way that's apparently allowed in the game, then that's my little rant about game systems over with. Right, so this needs to go in about here. I would love to be able to see over that way a little more. That'll work. Yeah, that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. Right, so this is a train station. It will give you a default name, but I don't want to use the default name. I'm going to be calling this the main depot for the moment. Then press return, because unless you press return, it doesn't actually save it, and then it tells you, that it's the main depot up there, which is excellent. And then I want all of these platforms to offload on the same direction. Yeah, this is also calling for steel beams. The freight platform does not want steel beams in the recipe, but it's calling for steel beams when you actually try and place it, which is not ideal. I can also, while I'm here, place the electric locomotive, which is the thing by which it pulls the rest of the things. So yeah, and then when you want to add freight cars, you just place them behind, like you would normally do. And that all lines up perfectly. I can just extend that out over this way a bit. Only I don't have the concrete to do so. But yeah, no, that's fine. And then it's just a case of frames come out. I add on to the system. And I get concrete and of the Explorer. Explorer's probably got concrete on it. If not, it's not really too much of a bother to go and get some more. Open workbench. It's got a little bit, not huge amounts. I probably will need some more. I'm definitely going to need some more of that. But yeah, it's just over here, so that's not a problem. This first base is going to need a fair overhaul, I think. It's sort of starting to feel a little bit more like a base rather than a series of randomly interconnected. That's the one I want. Systems, basically. So yeah, take all of them. So that's just a case of putting that stuff, neaten it up. What I might actually do this. So this sort of middle run that I've sort of accidentally created, I could put my power cables in here, and then sort of branch them out as needed. Right, so vehicles, freight platform. So we want it all sort of slung outside here. So I need 2 more freight platforms. This is why I didn't want 10. They do take up a fair amount of space. So yeah, it would be like plates. Yeah. So next up, I'm going to need to drop down these, cut this off, probably place it. Let's see. So it's going to go along for about 5 blocks, and then transfer into storage containers, basically. Yes, that sounds about right. Can't do anything. No. I might be able to do something now, though. I think there's starting to be sort of light at the end of the tunnel with this. It's quite a daunting project, and there's certainly going to be an awful lot more stuff that's kind of required to get this running. But it's it is certainly getting there now. So now I just need 5 freight cars. This will convert into track that goes all the way down there, and I'll probably put another one over there, and then maybe one down the middle, and then probably have it go up, possibly over the top. Not really sure on that. That's really not the right one. That's not the right one either. I know, it's something about getting the train station in. It looks a little bit more sort of concrete. I'm going to call this iron for the moment. Giving these things names is a really, really good idea, because having a naming convention, meaning that you know where everything is going. I mean, it could just be main depot, platform A, platform B, C, D, E, F, and G. But for the moment, I'm going to call this the iron line, and then silver line or whatever. We'll sort of work out how things are going to go a little bit later on. This is actually progressing an awful lot quicker than I thought. This was going to take me hours. It turns out, if you want to get something finished quickly, just throw on a stream and get on with it. Actually, it's not taken me quite as long as I'd feared. So yeah, basically what we see here now is the startings of my train system. And now that I've got this in place, I can then sort of go over to, say, Screw Central, which is probably going to be over there somewhere, and I would have the same setup as you see here, but instead of having 5 freight terminals, I would have one freight terminal. Say that was iron, that was rods, say that was plates, and that was rods. So I would have blank platform, freight terminal, blank platform, essentially. It didn't quite work out that way, but yeah. Obviously, they do need to all be set to unload. You can do that now. And the line is going to carry electricity as well. So I can set up the train station up here, have my loop where it takes me to all the interesting places of the world, all the basic facilities, and I can get rid of the wire mess so that the stations are going to provide power to the satellites, and bring everything here for processing. Yeah, and we've been going on for an hour now. I'm gonna. Oh god, it's 7:30. I should probably look at something eating this. But no, this is coming along really well, and hopefully next weekend, if I stream some more Satisfactory, it'll look a little bit more complete. But for the moment, I think I'm going to end this video here, or the stream here. So with that, I will say thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.